God. Welcome back to SolidImpact, second edition.
Episode 2.
Yeah, I can't wait to get the
How do we
sucks.
do hashtag?
I want to get the sucks
You just
so
wanna
I
get
can
the
hang it
sucks.
on the South
Hashtag.
Africans.
Hashtag?
Hashtag 2.
Hashtag 2.
Really?
That's what we do.
Oh,
Yeah.
There we go.
PJ's in the books, boys. Jimmy Walker,
Jimmy Walker
the man.
pulled it out, so I have to eat my words from the first episode because I said Jimmy comes out firing at the first few and then kind of loses his way over the weekend. He didn't do it this weekend.
Yeah,
He
well,
pulled it through.
Basically, most people know you don't know what you're talking about, so it's good to see Jimmy come through. He's got 8.3 win percentage over the last 2 years or 3 years, and an average $191,000 US dollars per event. So, yeah, you didn't really do your research
No,
on
I
Jimmy,
didn't.
did you?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
well
No.
done.
Well,
Okay,
he
good job.
He didn't have a great lead up to the PGA Championship, but yeah, he pulled through and what a performance on Sunday. 36 holes. It's a
36 holes.
marathon run there for the players.
Well, not unusual. Back until the 1960s, they used to play 36 holes on a Saturday every single time because Sunday was their day of rest, the church and everything like that. PGA Tour only made it 4 rounds, basically, sometime in the 1960s, where that changed, where they actually played the final round on Sundays. They always used to play 36 holes on the Saturday. So I don't. For these guys and their fitness levels and that these days, I don't think 36 holes is
No, it's
that
not too
big a
much.
deal for them.
It's not too much to ask for.
What's the most holes you've played in a day?
We
You,
play.
ever?
We played in
18?
No, we went to Maidan, me and Chris, and we played. I think it was 42 or 43 in the one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
42 or 40. I've played 90 in one day, 5 rounds at Royal Melbourne.
That's when they didn't have.
They didn't
Was
have
it? Is it a Mashi course, par 3 course or something?
Royal Melbourne.
Oh.
Some part of Royal Melbourne you didn't understand?
No,
Where they had the
I just thought back in the day when you started playing golf, they made Royal Melbourne
They-
a par 3 course, and then when you finished, they
When I started playing golf, Royal Melbourne's been around for 120 years,
no, it could have started out as a Mashi,
yeah.
90
a
holes.
mashie. What's a mashie?
par 3 course.
No, a mashie is a 3-wood, mate, with a hickory shaft.
Yeah.
No.
You got a
it's
mashie, you got a mashie niblick.
Yeah. In South Africa, we called the par 3 courses Mashi courses.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good thing we're in Malaysia. What to do?
Seriously.
So, anyway, getting back to Jimmy. Okay, he had to make par on the last after Jason Day.
My prediction, yeah, it was my prediction. Jason Day to win. Who did you guys predict again?
I got Fowler.
Fowler and
Stenson,
Stenson. Okay.
I think.
You did go Stenson.
So, it was an awesome eagle on the par 5 by Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit 2 iron to like 10 feet and hold the putt for eagle to keep the pressure on.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
he did everything he could.
He was a little unlucky he didn't hold the putt on 17 actually.
Yeah, hit it a little bit hard through that break.
The commentator said everyone missed that low and he missed it high.
And then Jimmy Walker's second shot, he almost made a hash of it. His second shot on 18, blocked it way right. But then from there, it was a pretty safe shot. He had so much green to work with. He just had to chip it on and 2-putt from there, really.
That's what he said. If I can get it up as close as I can to the green, I'm going to make par from somewhere around the green anyway.
Yeah, so.
But I
mean,
think the big one for Jimmy, was definitely the birdie on 17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gave him the cushion.
Even what Jason had to make a 2 on the last, which he got close to doing, but other than that, with that birdie on 17, set him up to.
Well, you could see when Jason Day was walking up to the green and he looked at the leaderboard and saw Jimmy had made birdie and he threw the putter up and dropped it on the ground.
Yeah, he knew that he was just that little too far out of reach because the 18th hole did play the easiest all week. It was the easiest hole of the week.
Yeah, 520 yard par 5 for those guys. It's just a long par 4, isn't it, really?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, if you look at, like you said, Jason hit two iron off the tee, 2 iron onto the green, right? So it was playing easy the whole week.
So what about Andrew Beef Johnson? What about
Andrew
the
Beef.
reception he got? So
Yeah,
he's sponsored by Arby's now, the beef place in America. And
Yeah, people in the US love him. He's kind of the new John Daly, really.
But
Yeah.
it's good to see guys like him coming out. Like, there's a little bit of character in the game of golf. It was a little bit of stale for a few years where the guys were, I don't want to say too professional, but they didn't have characters like you had back in the day, like a Lee Trevino or Fuzzy Zeller. The guys that interacted with the crowds, and
Even
Beef Johnson's one of those guys now where he's got a little bit of a persona, and like when he signs something, he just signs Beef, as his signature. So it's good to see a bit of a character, and the US crowds has really taken to him. Early in his career, he struggled with the crowds in Europe. They weren't really on board with him, but
because they want the European, they like that strict.
Exactly.
Kind of stick to
Well,
the books.
you have a look at the Champions Dinner, for example. Okay, and they've got the Champions Dinner picture there with all the past PGA champions, and they're all dressed in suits. And John Daly's come in a loudmouth suit. So he stood out.
He stood out pretty.
Like those dogs things.
But he does have some outrageous clothing, doesn't he? But one of the funny things I heard the crowds were when they were watching Beef, Andrew Johnson. One of the guys says to his friends, he goes, "Do you think Beef would let us pet his beard?" It's just a random crowd member to one of his friends. You think they would let him pet his beard? I reckon he would.
Yeah, he would. He definitely would.
He's one of those.
He's one of those
I reckon
characters.
he should trim it and sell it off on eBay. He'd make a fortune.
He'd probably make a few bucks for that.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like that there's a little bit of a persona on the game of golf. But sometimes it just gets a little bit too stale and too strict down the line, where he creates something a little bit more fun for the crowd. And they also in the business of growing the game. If there's characters out like that, he makes more people want to watch the game.
Yeah.
And
brings the average bloke in, doesn't he?
Exactly. And let's be honest, he's a good golfer. He's had a good run over the.
What was the guy a few years ago was sponsored by a beer company as well? Was on there, wasn't he? The beer man, they used to call him. Can't remember who that was. Lift, clean and place. First time in a major.
Yeah, so they had it. So a lot of the players played 36 holes on the Sunday. So for the third round, they didn't get left clean in place because the players had played the day before, so they couldn't give them an unfair advantage. So then for the final round, lift clean in place for the first time in major championship history.
It's interesting. The European Tour and the PGA Tour actually have slightly different rules on it. I remember when they were here. Normally, the PGA Tour would say mud on the ball, players got to have a skill level to deal with that. European Tour says mud on the ball, we're definitely going to be playing lift, clean and place. Normally the rule for the PGA Tour is the ball must embed, on a regular basis for it to be lift, clean and place.
Yeah.
So what they do is it's quite a change for the PGA Tour, but I think it's a good thing because the last thing you want to do is have a major decided by a mud ball that bends 20 yards in the air and ends up in the water or something like that because of mud in the ball. You want the talent of the players, the best player to win the tournament, not someone win because of a bit of luck or a bit of mud on the ball.
No, for sure. And I mean, people can argue and say it's going to make it easier. There's no water on the ball when they hit it, but like you said, it's true. You don't want a mud ball to, especially one of the 4 big tournaments of the year. It doesn't need to come down to that. And I mean, the rain they got through those couple of hours was enough for it to be justified to be lift clean in place.
But even then, if they lift clean in place and the guy shoots a course record or a 63, it doesn't count. Well, there'd be an asterisk, definitely be an asterisk on next to the guy that.
Well, I think definitely
shot 63 with a lift clean in place.
I
but boy,
that doesn't count.
63s. How many have we had?
We've had a few in the last couple of weeks, especially in major championships. That doesn't happen that often, but lately it's been happening.
I think it's up to 28 or 29 of them now in history.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It just shows the standard of golf, how much it's improved. You look at one of this year having all 4 majors first-time winners.
Yeah.
So it's the 5th time in history it's ever happened.
But they're pretty good players.
Yeah, they're great players.
Danny Willett won the Masters.
Dustin
Johnson won the US Open. Stenson with the British, and now Jimmy Walker. But they've all, I think apart from Danny Willett, the other 3 guys have been in the top 10 in the world, especially Stenson and Dustin Johnson have been up there for ages.
Established careers, and it's about time for one of them to win a major. It also shows you the depth of the game of golf we have these days, right? If you can have 4 first-time major winners, like Chris said, it's only the 5th time it's ever happened, but it's a good thing for the game of golf, showing the depth that we have at the moment. You know, with all the good players.
What do you think about the draw, where they didn't have time to redo
the
draw, so they stepped with the same as the 3rd round?
Yeah, so it's interesting because it's really hard for them to redo the draw and to get all the players enough rest and stuff to get out there and play again. A guy like Jimmy Walker was quite lucky. He's got his RV which he travels around in, and he parked it in the church across the road. And
Jason Day was next door, wasn't he?
So they left the golf course, went back to their RV, had a shower, had a little nap, had a massage, back out for the final round. But it does make it interesting. Jason Day not getting to play with Jimmy Walker.
To put the pressure on him, and look him in the eye as they play.
Yeah, exactly.
He was asked the question straight after the round, and before the reporter could even finish the question, he's like, "Yes, I would have loved to play with him."
Yeah.
Because it would have come down to a little bit more of a match play game.
But it is what it is. You got to play with the cards you dealt. Don't
Exactly. You still have to go shoot the score out there. So if you were playing with him or without,
I think that's the big one. Jason Day, he did play well in the final round, but if you look at his average distance to the hole for his second shot, his average distance was about 44 feet.
Yeah,
it's just not close enough.
So he hit a lot of 2-putts and a lot of good putts he held for par.
Well, he got 174 footed.
In the 3rd round in the morning. But it's just he didn't hit it quite close enough.
He still shot 67, 67. That's
yes,
pretty good going.
No, I'm not taking anything away from him, but I'm just saying that he was my favourite to win, so don't get me on that one. But he hit it really far away from the hole compared to a guy like Ben Ang, who hit everything as close as possible and didn't make a putt all day.
Yeah.
So he played pretty well.
What about Brendan Grace? He was the guy that teed off hours before the other guys and finished.
He finished 3 hours ahead of the leaders, and at one stage he got it to 10 under, bogeyed 16, and parred the last 2. But he was in the clubhouse as the leader 3 hours before the last guys.
He was hitting it pretty close, like you were telling me earlier. His average was 22 feet, so he was just struggling a little bit with the putter. He couldn't.
Did he have different conditions playing earlier?
No, I think pretty much the same. Maybe the greens would have got a little bit more bumpy
because they were soft.
Yeah. But I think overall it was a phenomenal championship, and they did well to get it all in over the weekend to finish it all off.
Good. Next year, Quail Hollow. There we go.
Just to touch on that, what do you guys think about having major championships at regulatory venues?
No.
I don't really quite agree with it. I think they should keep it away from the regulatory events.
Yeah.
So Quail Hollow hosts the what's
Travelers.
it called? No, not the Travelers. It hosts the one that Ricky won there.
John Deere.
Wells Fargo.
Oh yeah, like I said, Wells Fargo. Okay.
I'd much rather have them keep the majors at different venues to the regulatory events.
Yeah. What about the web.com? What about the German guy, Jaeger?
Shot 58.
58, new world record.
Yeah, new record on the PGA
and
Tour.
Then he finished 30 under for the tournament, another record.
Broke the scoring record.
Broke the scoring record and won his first event.
250 for 4 rounds, wow.
But he went 58, 65, 64, 63, I think. That was something around that. Shooting 30 under is really impressive. It doesn't matter if you do that on your local club champs on the PGA Tour. To go shoot 30 under over 4 rounds, that's some great golf to be played.
Yeah.
It's very special, yeah. And the golf on that tour is unbelievable. The standard of golf those guys play. So the web.com, for you guys that don't know, is the tour right underneath the PGA Tour. Used to be called the Nationwide Tour. And these guys are all trying to make it onto the PGA Tour. And the golf they're playing there is just it's just phenomenal.
Well, the top 25 get on, don't they, at the end of the year? Top 25 on their order of merit get onto the tour?
25 get automatic exemption, and then there's a couple more spots. They also have a similar FedEx Cup playoffs at the end of the year where the guys that missed their card from the PGA Tour play against some of the guys that are on the top 50 on the web.com, and they play out for a couple more spots. Another, I would say, 25 spots they play out for.
Oh, okay. So we're going to talk about the Women's British Open Championship. Okay. You know, in the men, there's a difference between the British Open and the Open Championship. They're two different tournaments.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did
so-
know that. Yeah.
The Women's Open was won for the first time by a Thai Aria,
Yeah.
and we'll call her Boom Boom from now on.
Boom boom.
Yeah, or the Basher or something like that.
She
Because
hit it a
she
long
was
way.
hitting an iron 280 yards. Okay,
She's,
you don't want to mess with her, I tell you. But
So she started the final round. She was 3 shots ahead.
she got to 6, I think.
She got to
didn't
6
she?
shots ahead after about 9 holes.
Hmm.
And she had the Korean girl, Miriam Lee.
The Aussie girl, isn't it?
No, not the Aussie girl. No,
Oh.
she didn't. She played okay. She didn't contend.
Yeah.
But and then they also had Mo Martin. And
Mo Martin is interesting because you got the Thai girl that's hitting at 300 yards, and Mo Martin
Just-
sort of hits it like 210 or something.
Just
doesn't
popping
she?
it down
She's
there,
the
yeah.
shortest player on tour, and this is the longest player on tour, pretty much.
So she got to a 6-shot lead after about 9 holes, and after 15 holes it was back to 1. Back to 1, and then she made a clutch birdie on 17 and on 18 to actually end up winning by 3. And
Awesome for Thailand.
awesome
Yeah.
for Thailand there first.
For Asian golf and
it's
for us
Asian,
and for
us.
everyone.
That's great.
But it's unbelievable women's golf at the moment. You look at the average age of so they've had 4 majors so far this year,
Yeah, well, that's,
and they've got
they
one
got
more
one
coming
more
up.
to go. Yeah, the women have 5.
So they the average age of the winner on tour is 22.8. Not on tour, sorry, for the 4 majors. So we had Lydia Ko at 18, Brooke Henderson at 18. Then you had Bethany. No, her name wasn't Bethany. That's what the commentator messed up. Brittany Lang.
Brittany Lang. You
And
said
then
it
you
right
had
the first
so
time.
Brittany Lang is 30. She's the
She's
oldest
Okay.
winner on tour this year.
Hmm.
On tour.
On
and then you
tour.
had the Thai girl who's 20.
Okay.
So
It's
What-
interesting. I was thinking last night, like our average age is like 40.
It is.
Yeah. It's good.
the average age of us 3,
Yeah.
How old
40.
though?
How old are you? Oh, yeah, it's most very right. Yeah.
You ruined the average first.
No, that's better. I'm trying to your intellect up here a bit. Okay.
Well, it's interesting with the women's golf, and I want to hear what you guys think, is that women seem to peak in their professional careers a lot sooner than guys do. I mean, you get ladies or girls that winning at 16, turning
Well,
pro
look
at
at
16.
Lydia Ko.
Yeah, exactly.
15 years old as an amateur, she had her first win.
Yeah, she won.
This girl, the Thai girl that just won, actually played in her first professional event when she was 11.
Yeah.
11.
I mean, but
So she's a veteran
yeah,
at 20.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's been out there for 9 years.
But what do you think? Why do the women seem to peak a lot earlier than the guys? I know it's a power thing, and guys tend to grow a little bit, or
Well,
they have
you
their
look at
growth
the-
spurt a little
Well,
later on.
you look at the difference in the body shape. So, like Tiger when he came out to now,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Jason Day and Stenson, and they just get physically bigger and stronger in their late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. No, I mean all of those things, and kind of shows you that the girls must also mentally mature a little earlier. Taking on that type of pressure and being able to handle their
I think-
emotions and everything on the golf course than guys. You can see that when Sergio came out as a 19-year-old, he's a really fiery Spaniard. He's a little subdued now and being able to control his emotions.
He's been beat down over 20 years. Yeah.
Where girls seem to be able to handle it at a much younger age better.
It's a different type of atmosphere, I think. I don't think it's as serious on the ladies' tour as it is on the men's. No disrespect to the women,
Sure.
but I think the big circus of the men's golf is a big circus. Compared to the
I think
the women.
it also comes down to there's definitely more men playing golf than women. Still,
Yeah.
not that we don't want more women playing golf, but at that professional level, at the highest level in golf, there's definitely a lot more guys than there is girls.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
No, for sure. But
There's a bigger pool, you mean?
bigger
Exactly,
pool.
yeah.
But I mean, for me, it's crazy how girls like Lydia Ko, you said as an amateur, she won 5 professional tournaments as an amateur at 15 years old.
Yeah.
There's no 15-year-old guy that's going to do that ever.
No.
I mean, we had was it the Korean kid that played in the Masters as a 14-year-old?
Yeah, that's
2
right.
years ago.
Chinese
guy?
Chinese.
I mean, he did. Did he make the cut?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
like,
made
Youngest
the cut.
ever to make the
he
cut.
made the cut, and that was a big thing, for a 14-year-old playing a long course and making the cut. If you take a year later, Lydia Ko was winning professional tournaments, right? So there must be, there's definitely something.
Well, it's a strength thing as well.
Yeah.
Like you look at that kid, he's hitting 3-wood into 18, and guys like Jason Day and that are hitting 9 on it. So
for sure.
he just can't compete. It's a strength thing. There's no question about it. But even in the women's game, you'll see the girls like the Lexi Thompsons and Aria and these girls now a little more dominant because of their length. But putting still comes in. That's where Imbi is the rolls the rock.
Yeah.
She can get it in the hole.
Yeah. I mean, she was just inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, well, she had to be a certain age or
She
play
had
a
to
certain
play
number of events.
10 years on tour. She had to be on tour for 10 years to be able to be eligible. That's someone like...
and then they've got like a tournament system as well, right? You have to win X amount of tournaments with a points structure.
Yeah,
and
you have to be on tour for 10 years. So someone like Lorena Ochoa, who was phenomenal in her time, she retired early because she wanted to have a family and have kids and stuff, and she didn't get to that 10 years on tour.
That might be part of the reason why younger ones as well, they're trying to, maybe they push themselves a little harder younger so they can retire earlier and have a bit more of a normal life later in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, they've definitely got different goals to the girls generally.
Yeah.
So that when they get to their late 20s, they kind of want to settle down and family. Most of them, there is exceptions out there that want to just keep competing, right? So there's a little.
But I think the women's
the gay
game,
ones.
the women's game's in unbelievable. The women's game's in a really, really strong position at the moment. They've got great sponsors for a lot of their events. The crop of junior golfers or young junior golfers is phenomenal, and they're doing a lot to grow the game and to get more girls involved.
One thing I have
It's a lot more inviting for a young girl to want to play golf now than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
One thing I want to give the girls props for is the LPGA Tour is more like a world tour. I mean, they do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, coming out here to Malaysia with the Sime Derby, then China, they do a lot of Thailand tournaments.
Yeah, Korea, Japan, everywhere.
Yeah, so it's more like a world tour for them, the LPGA, than it is, for the guys that plays on the PGA Tour, which is mainly based in
They travel to what? They travel to Asia twice in a year, really.
Yeah.
They play the HSBC and they play the CIMB Classic here in Malaysia.
But the ladies travel a
Well,
lot.
they go to Mexico, it's the only other one, and Canada. The Canadian Open.
They haven't got past, they go far from the continent of the US.
Yeah. Plus the girls play with coloured balls and stuff like that.
They make the game prettier, though.
Prettier?
Yeah.
Well,
No one wants
they
to
certainly
see
do
it.
looking at you.
I was going to say the same to you.
Yeah, you're a bit slow though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you've got to mature a bit more than you can keep up.
What did you say last time? It's that 20-year gap, right? For the first 20 years? It's just...
The first 20 years are the hardest.
Yeah,
After
sure.
that, you'll get there. Don't
Okay.
worry about it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the golf swing now. Since it's a golf program, I thought we better touch on technique. Okay, so in golf, basically there's two elements of golf: hitting at the right distance and hitting at the right direction.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain a little bit about curvature of the golf ball and what makes the ball go straight here with these two rods. Now, if we imagine these two rods actually had a piece of string tied to get them, and if I go straight at the camera as the target, the bottom one here is my swing path, or that's the direction that my swing's going to go in. This one here would be the loft of the club, or the face, okay, pointing. So you can see when the path and the face line up, the ball's basically going to go straight. If the path and the face don't match up, you can see the angle between the tips of these two here. For example, if the face was aimed to the right and the path was straight, the ball would actually tilt and curve off to the right, the opposite to the left. So basically, for the ball to go straight, the path and club face have to be similar, pointing the same direction. If they both point out to the right, I'm hitting a push. If they both point out to the left, I'm hitting a pull. If they both point at the target at the point of impact, path and face, I'm hitting the ball pretty straight. So the job is to swing the club on a good path with a square club face and get the strike on the ball that you need to hit at the correct distance. all that sounds pretty easy. Okay, as teachers, if I can borrow the club there, Chris. What
What
affects
am I meant to lean on now? I was leaning on that quite nicely.
Hey, you can pick up one of those sticks and lean on it. Mine, they're pretty sharp. They'll probably
Yeah.
go straight through your hand.
There's some fiberglass in my hands or something.
All right, so basically the grip, how we hold the golf club makes a big difference to not only the face but also the path. How my left hand goes on the golf club, okay, makes a big difference. What we've got to realise is the club face square at address is okay, but we really need it square at impact. Okay, and the difference between address and impact is at address your right wrist is flat, your left wrist is cupped. At impact that's reversed. The right wrist is bent, the left wrist is flat. Now we need to have a grip that when we do that the club face is still square to our intended target line. Now if I have a grip that's too weak, in other words my left hand's rotated to the left, when I get into that impact position the club face will be open. So then I'm going to start wanting to release the club too early in order to square the club face up, and then of course I don't get the power I want. So direction and accuracy and distance and path.
So
and
we look
club face are
at
all
it like this.
connected.
We look at all of that. What you've just said can relate back to having an incorrect grip.
Yeah, that's correct.
So a lot of people they think, oh, my golf swing is off and I'm swinging badly and nothing's going right. But they can come for a lesson, and it could be as simple as one change. It could be as simple as strengthening the left-hand grip on the club.
And if we look at most of our clients who come in, most of the mistakes lie in their grips anyway. I mean,
Well, let's just have a little look at that grip. Basically, when I take the grip and take my stance and I do things correctly, if I look at it from this angle here, I have a certain amount of tilt in my spine. Now what that does is that allows my shoulders to be square and also the right amount of tilt so that when I'm coming down into the ball I can apply the force to the club at 90 degrees to it into the ball. If my grip is too weak, for example, now my levels become here, my shoulders become open. I might have the club face square, but now my arms and everything are going to want to swing left in relationship to the face, and that's going to produce a slice, and that's where most golfers have trouble.
Yeah, majority of amateur golfers in today's day and age hit a slice or a banana cut. That's,
especially you left-handers.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very common for the left-handers to hit a big carve for us to the left.
So the best way to take the grip, Francois, if you could just put your foot here.
that's just because you want to hit it again, right?
No, put your foot here. Okay, so if you take the golf club and you put it up against something like that, and you put yourself into impact, push against his foot, and then get the club face square and adjust your hands where it feels most powerful, and then come back, and that should be your grip. If I had a grip that's too weak and I push on his foot, the club face is open. I just keep my hands in that position and turn the club and get it square, and then I can fix my grip up. And that will automatically fix my posture, help my angles, square me up, everything like that. So yeah, grip is huge for all those different alignments. The other thing it might be is something as simple as ball position. When we're swinging, the club comes into the ball in an arc as we're coming in. It's not coming straight down the line. If it was straight back and straight through, we'd have a swing that looked like this. It's not. It's an ellipse. It's on an angle. So the club is coming from the inside. So the more back the ball is, the more from the inside, the more I'm swinging out to the right. The further forward the ball is as I come here, now I'm swinging to the left. So the path can be really dominated a lot by ball position as well. So we've got to make sure the ball's in the right spot as well when we're hitting.
So you looked at it. You got two things that affect. We want to hit the ball the correct distance, and we want to hit it straight.
Yep.
And we have those two things. We have the grip on the club, which is basically
club
face control, and then we have the path, which today we just discussed. We can control by just changing the ball position.
Yeah, that's right.
So two things that we're going to do in our golf swing.
Of course, that would change the height and the trajectory of the ball and the carry and all those things as well.
So it's basically two things we've changed to the golf swing before we even hit the golf ball, and they can make a huge difference in the outcome, the result of any given shot.
That's why a lot of people, when they come to lessons for us, is the first things we look at them as the basics of the golf swing, right?
Yeah.
And this is just the basics of the golf swing. It's not even hitting the golf ball.
It's not only that too. You're looking at the flight. Teaching has always been done on ball flight. Now these days we've got equipment to help us with that. The TrackMan that we have here that shows the path of the swing, what the club face is doing, even where you're striking on the face, smash factor, how much steep you're going down into the ball, all those sorts of information that we've got. So by making these few minor adjustments, we can hit the ball better.
Yeah.
It's not. Teaching in the past has always been about style, making sure you look pretty with your script and setup and how far back and through you come. These days it's not about style at all, it's about skill. Your ability to get the club to come through the ball squarely with a square club face, okay, and hit it at the right time in the swing. What you look like doing that, no one cares. The golf ball certainly doesn't care. Okay, so it doesn't have to be pretty anyway. You see Jordan Spieth with his elbow like this, Lee Westwood's like that coming into the ball. There's a lot of different, and Jim Furyk swings all over the place, but their ability to get that club moving squarely through the ball is there all the time. So look at Bubba Watson, he actually steps away and does it. Still manages to swing through.
Yeah, I think that's also where, like you said, coaching's changed over the years. A lot of coaches would have tried to get people in positions that looks good, right?
Yeah.
Get them at the right position at the top, because for so many years the club had to be at a certain angle, had to point in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Now it comes more down to just, can you get that club square with a pretty decent path more often?
With that position at the top, can you still deliver the club to the ball properly, or through the ball on the right path with a square club face?
So it's basically, we're just trying to simplify it, really. Everybody can have their own movements and their own ways of swinging the golf club, but it's getting back to impact in that correct position we want to get to.
There's 6 billion ways, one for every person on the planet. There's no one the way to swing. We take grips, for example. We've got baseball, split grips, overlap grips, double overlap, interlocking, reverse overlap, reverse grip. You can play like that. None of them are wrong. We look at wrist cock. I could do it early in the back, and just mind yourself there, Chris. I could do it early in the backswing. I could do it halfway back. I could do it at the top. I could do it gradually all the way, or I could do it like Sergio on the way down. None of them are wrong, provided I get to my release point with my wrist still fully set.
A good example of that is a guy like Mo Norman. He was unconventional, but still seen as the best ball striker in the world, because all he could do is he could get the club square with a good path into the ball.
That's right.
And
he was the only guy Ben Hogan used to go and watch his ball.
Yeah.
So he was a pretty good ball striker, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He used to go out, when he went out to play golf, here's a little story for you. He didn't go out and bet on the score. They used to play $10 for hitting a fairway, $50 for hitting a green, and $100 for hitting a flagstick. And there's a story that he went out one day and he hit every fairway, every green, and 6 flags. Cleaned up.
Incredible.
Won the money.
Yeah.
Of course, won the money.
But he's a good example of just what you just said. Club face square with a good path. Didn't look good, but
he was actually autistic, but his genius came in golf. His autism made him...
Wasn't he? Who was the guy that said that he hated playing 36 holes in one day because he used to hit his ball in the same divot?
Yeah, well, that... and they're talking about Hogan playing.
Yes.
But my answer to that was, if he was so bloody good, why didn't he aim 1 inch left or 1 inch right? Why the hell would you hit it in your same divot if you're that good? Okay, so a bit of a stupid statement, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some Australian must have said it somewhere on the line or something.
Yeah, we got it from a South African for sure. Anyway, so work on your grip. Like I said, put yourself in the impact position. If your grip's wrong, the club face will look wrong. Just keep everything in that position and turn it here. Now, when we get into this impact position, we want the whole left arm and the club in a line.
Do we want our hand shaking as well, or?
Yeah, a little bit.
Try and keep that quite still.
That
helps.
helps.
Want to shake that.
Yeah, well, I haven't had my whiskey this morning. Okay, so whole left arm and the club in a straight line here. Shoulders pretty square even though the hips are open. From this angle here, at address, my right forearm and the shaft are not in a line, but at impact, my right forearm and the shaft are in a line. So basically everything gets pulled into a line. Right forearm this way, left arm this way. Okay, and that's basically how we grip the club, set up, and learn to practice going through that position with a square club face when you swing. Doesn't matter what it looks like apart from that. Once you get that right, you'll play better golf. Anyway, we're wrapping up today, Ninji. Okay, we're going to talk about what's coming up. So the big thing next week is the Rio. Okay.
Well, so we got on the
Travellers.
PGA, so we got the Travellers from the 4th to the 7th of August, and then the big one for a lot of the male competitors and female competitors is the Olympics. Olympics is from the 11th to the 14th of August.
Yeah. Can the Thai girl also pick up a gold medal?
Would it
as
be
well as her Open Championship? She's got to be feeling pretty good going in there because there are only 60 players in each side, isn't there, men's and women's?
Yeah.
So who's your tip for the men's gold? I'll pick the Thai girl for the gold for the
ladies?
For the ladies, yeah.
I'm going to say for the ladies, I would say I'm going to go straight up. We'll go with Lydia Ko. It's the easy option.
Yeah, that was my pick, but okay, you took it now.
You're too slow. God, you're slow.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, go on.
Ladies pick, I'll go Lexi Thompson. She's playing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's made it, right?
Yeah.
I'll go Lexi.
USA.
She finished top 10 this week at the Ladies Open Championship.
Okay, for the guys, I'll go Stenson.
You know what? I'll go for the local hero, Adilson de Silva.
He's going for the Brazilian.
Yeah.
They're going to like that.
Okay, Minji, do you have any idea what a Brazilian is? No, I don't think you do.
Don't.
Okay. I'm not looking good.
I'm going to go Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed. Okay, he'd be a good pick.
Patrick
I think
Reed,
he'll be fired up. USA.
He's been playing pretty well recently. He hasn't quite got across the line this year yet, but I think he's right up there. He should do well.
Okay, so we'll come back afterwards and see who won the Travellers, because the guys playing in the Olympics won't be playing there, I don't think.
Yeah, the Travellers is.
And we'll give our detailed report.
So then after we got the Olympics, and then followed up by, of course, we got the FedEx Cup playoffs, 2 weeks after the Olympics, and then we've got 4 of those events, and then we move on to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, all right.
That wraps it up for today. We will see you guys in
See you in a week's time. So we've got our Instagram and Twitter accounts up. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at SolidImpact on Twitter, and on Instagram, and on Twitter it's SolidImpact Golf. We'll be posting a couple of videos and photos of the episodes we've done. We'll post the link on there as well, so you can just click on the link and we'll take you straight to our episodes.
Okay.
And that's
Bye
us for
from
Solid Impact.
Solid Impact.